Hello everybody, I'm back with another deck profile. This time, it's on my Murakumo deck, which just got support in the new Techno Booster. I think it's really good. Good support, solid support. Still probably not going to be one of the better decks in the meta, but enjoyable to play. A lot of cool combos, which I always find fun. I hope you guys too, so let's get right into it. So for a starter, I run Stealth Demon of Crow Feathers Fugen. What he does is GB1 Shadowstich, which is the new keyword from Murakumo, which is a very nice thing. It's when it doesn't hit a Vanguard or anything, most of the time it's Vanguard though, you get to do something. So either you deal him a damage or you get to do something else, which is a win-win in every situation. Basically what he does is if he doesn't hit, you can move him to another rearguard circle, open rearguard circle. It has to be open, can't be already occupied. But what he does is he'll be rested since you boosted. You move him to another spot, he stands back up so you can boost again, and you can just keep going. If you get stand triggers or something, you can just keep going until you run out of attacks, which is nice. Doesn't happen often. Could happen on your first ride if you don't fill up your board, but after that, and most of the time you have some grade 2s in the back row that can attack, so you're filling it up and you're not able to. But still really useful, can be used. I've used it a few times and enjoyed it. His second skill is his act skill, which I find to be the better of the two by a large amount. They don't work together, but they can if you get a sand trigger or something. But what he does is you can arrest him, pick a normal unit in your drop zone, and then put it into the bottom of the deck and just shuffle it. Actually, not shuffle, sorry. You just put it in the bottom of the deck, and then you got another copy of that to call out later, which is always useful. Main problem with Murakumo was you couldn't get stuff back in deck. You still kind of can't, but it helps to have that. So that's for your starter. Now for grade 3s. 4 copies of Yasuie. He's the stride break for the clan, and I think he's the best the clan can be for it. Unless they do some new stuff and we weren't knowing about. But his GB2 is when a card to go to the bottom of the deck, you can just call it back out. You can actually combo it with Fugen to rest something, put it in the bottom deck if you're a GB2, and you can just call it back out with that. Doesn't happen often. I actually just saw that combo now, just to be honest. But I can see the use of it. It's pretty nice if you couldn't stride that turn. Give you a free rear guard pretty much by just resting one. So you give up 5k, get 9 or 11k even. His second skill is Counterblast 1. When you stride, you get to copy one unit on your rear guard. You get 2 copies of it. So you could, let's say I had a Fugen here. You could get 2 more of it if I ran 2. I only run 1. It would be kind of cloggy after that, but you can just get copies of anything, really, if you have it on rear guard when you stride at least. Okay, so next is Yakivogue Reverse. Not going to run Argoto Spark. Good card, just only really useful on one turn, and I don't see the use of it most other times. Well, this guy, I've used him a lot and enjoyed using him every time. He's got a nice limit break skill, so you don't have to worry about generation break or any stuff like that. So you don't have to worry if you even strode. You can just, if you went first, you can even do this if they rush you early. Basically, you pick 2 of your Murakumo units to lock them. You have to lock 2. It's kind of a heavy cost, but if you get to pick up to 3 copies of him. There's also if you had 1 on Vanguard and 2 on rear guards, you have to give all 3 of them, in fact, 10k. So they're all swinging for 21, which is, if they're at grade 3 and they not a cross ride, that's 15k guards, which is always a good number, because that's at least 2 to 3 cards out of hand, unless they're going to perfect guard, which that's still 2 cards out of hand, and a perfect guard gone, so that's great. So those are my grade 3s. I think it's the best for the deck currently. Next, I run 4 copies of the rare grade 2 from the new technical booster. What he does is, on place GB1, you get to Soul Blast, he gets 2k, and a skill, it's the Shadowstich skill again. So if an attack doesn't hit a Vanguard, you may countercharge 1 and choose one of your other units, give it 2k. So let's say you just had another grade 2, let's say you had another one of these that you didn't pay the cost of this turn. You can attack, didn't hit, now this 11k, so you can swing at Vanguard also. It helps make numbers so you can do your attack combos and actually hit the Vanguard. Which, before when you were doing a lot of your attacks, they wouldn't hit, which is a pretty big problem, because what's the point of attacking that many times if you can't actually deal damage? Also, he's got a nice little thing of if you're grade 4 or greater Vanguard with Yasuie in the name, you can attack from the back row. So you can have just this and just attack with all 4 of them. That's pretty great to me. Next is Flowered Hat Fujino. A card that honestly probably would be a better card in, let's say, something like Neo Nectar, because then it would have the Bloom skill, which would make this so much nicer. Basically, when another copy of it's placed down on a rear guard, one that was already there gets 2k, and when an attack hits, when its attack hits, you get to flip a card in the damage zone face up. And if, let's say, you had one, call another, and another one, this should be able to unflip 2 and get plus 4k. This would be able to unflip 1 and get plus 2k. This would just be the 9k, which is kind of a problem, but there's a way you can solve that a bit with one of your shreds. But there's times where it's really useful to get the unflip, and it also applies pressure because your opponent doesn't want you to keep be able to counterblast a lot. I know I wouldn't, so I see the use of it. I like it. Next is my last grade 3 dual weapon. What he does is he's a non-GB Shadowstich, which is pretty useful sometimes as you were trying to rush early. He's Shadowstich on the rear guard. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked a Vanguard and didn't hit. Pay the cost, which is retiring this unit. You choose one of your grade 1s or grade 3s rear guards, and you get to pick a copy of it and call it. But at the end of the turn, it goes back to the deck. But if you're on like Yasuie's GB2, you could just keep it there if you wanted, which tends to be pretty useful sometimes. So yeah, so those are my grade 2s. Now on to grade 1s, which might be a bit quicker because some of them are pretty basic. Onibayashi's a nice little GB1 Shadowstich where if an attack doesn't hit, it gets a skill. The skill is when an attack does hit any of yours. So if any of the attacks doesn't hit, it gains a skill. And if any of the attacks do hit during that turn after that, you get to put it into Soul, draw a card, and countercharge 1. But that only works if you have a Vanguard with Yasui or a Vanguard with the Shadowstich ability, which sometimes can limit your options if you ride onto Hyaki Vogue, but other than that, it's a pretty solid card, which I've never really had that many problems with. Next, for the unflip PG. We should all know these work basically if another copy of it in the drop zone, and when it goes to the drop zone, you have to unflip a damage. So right now we got, let me think, 4 cards just shown right now that have an unflip ability, which is pretty nice. You can keep doing your counterless, which, trust me, this deck does a lot of, so it can be a problem. But next, Force Stride Fodder. Searches Yasui and gives you more stride. The reason I run 4 is you end up calling Hyaki Vogues, like I've said, which can severely cut into your strides. So I think you should run at least 3 of this if you don't want to run 4, but I really like the 4 for it. So yeah. Next, for the last one, I run 2 Monkey Shooter. I don't see many people running it. I like it. It can get up one of your units another stage. Sorry for misspeaking like that. Long day. It's got a Shadowstich ability, much like a dual weapon. He's not a GB, so basically when you attack, sorry about this, guys. Jeez, long day. Not ready to speak. Sorry. Basically, attack doesn't hit that he boosted. You can put him on the bottom deck, choose one units, give it 5k. See, it wasn't hard to say. Sorry about that. Okay, so that's your grade 1s. He's a 6k booster, gives 5k. You got Stride Fodders, unflip PGs, unflip guy that gives you hand advantage, and Soul, which is really helpful once you get to see stuff like Yashibashi and one of your Strides. It's a lot of Soul, a lot more Soul intensive than it used to be. Next, I run 6 crit, 4 of them being the Heart Thumb clone for Yasui. So if your Yasui Vanguard swings and attacks, if you have this on your rear guard, you can put into Soul, draw a card, and give that card 5k. It can either be your Stride if you're strode onto Yasui, can be even if you just stride another Yasui Stride onto Hyaki Vogue even. It can work anytime if you have one of those conditions met, which is really nice. Then I also run 2 Cat Devil. Cat Devil's like Flame of Victory from Gold Paladin. It's an axe skill. You can put it into Soul, choose one of your units, give it 3k. It helps to get more crits in the deck, which when I was originally trying this out, I was only running the 4 crit, which I rarely ever hit it, so I decided to bump up 2 more. So, and it's been working so far. I like it. So yeah, that's why I'm doing 6 crit. Then I run 4 Heat End Scroll, 2 Drench Serpent. Drench Serpent is your 5th unflipped card, which honestly is crazy having a deck that has 5 cards that can unflip. That's insane to me. Basically, she's Shadowstich, GB1. At the end of the attack that this unit boosted and the attack didn't hit the Vanguard. So you have to attack a Vanguard if it didn't hit, I mean. You can countercharge 1, soul charge 1, and give one of your units 4k while also putting this back into deck, so that means another trigger back in deck. That's pretty much always useful. So you can keep your deck full and keep your deck full of triggers, which is even better than just full. Next I run 4 Heat End Scroll, like I said. Basically, on place, pick one of your rear guards and get 2 copies of it. So you have 1 down, 1 Onibashi, call this, get 2 more. So you get, that can help build up field formations, other stuff like that. And it also goes back into deck while doing it. So as I said with Drench Serpent, more cards back into deck, more triggers back in deck. It's a win-win. So that's what I run for those. Then I also obviously run 4 heals. I'm working with the new heals. I have the old heals. Not sure which one I like better. It's no effect, but I'm not sure which art I like better. Yeah. Lastly, the strides. I run on Shibaraku Buster. He's the main soul user of the entire deck, other than Yashibashi. So you have 2 cards. You end up using at least 6 soul per game, which can be a lot. So you have to try hard to keep your soul. You have to manage it very well. He's Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 2, choose a card from hand, discard it, and also pick a card in your drop zone, put it back into the deck. So this one doesn't need to be a normal unit like Fugen does. So it can be any card. You can put a heal, a stand, a crit, whatever in. And it's pretty nice. You pick one card. Let's say you pick Yashibashi. You pick it, you get a copy of it, and the card you got a copy of, when it swings, performs a drive check. Just for the first battle it swings, so if you get a stand trigger, it wouldn't get another drive check, which would be insane, because you could just keep trying to get stands off it, because if you swing, you get a stand trigger off the swing itself, you can actually, after the battle, restand it and attack again. You won't have the drive checks, but it's pretty nice. And, let's say you copied a copy of Yasui. When it swings, it'll perform Twin Drive. So you got 5 drive checks in 1 turn. So plus your draw, that's 6 cards just right there. And this is a game of hand advantage, so that's pretty nice to me. Next, for Yasui Tenma. Probably the best finisher in this deck. Arguably, Homer is a bit better of a card, sometimes people say, which I do run. Technically, I don't have it here. I borrowed from a friend because don't have the money for it right now. Not horribly expensive, but I spend it on the rest of these. So, oh well, let's go with this, because this guy is better in my opinion. He's act once per turn, GB2, flip a copy of itself in your G-Zone, and it gets a Shadowstich skill, where when one of your units attacks a Vanguard and it doesn't hit, you get to counterblast 1, call another copy of it. So attack, doesn't hit, call another one from deck. And trying to go back, but you can keep doing that over and over again. And let's say you strode onto Yasui, you swing, attack doesn't hit, pick a Yasui deck, call it out, attack with it again, and you can keep going. You can get up to 12 to 16 attacks with triggers and such like that, but getting that many attacks is insane. I can't believe it's even possible. But I've done it, I love it, and if your opponent's at 5 damage when you stride on this guy and you got a lot of open counterblast, there's basically no chance of surviving unless they have a very, very large hand. So next I run 2 Kagemishi. This guy is primarily your first stride. When you stride onto it, correction. When a card is called to your rearguard that you already have a copy of the same name, the card that was called gets 2k and a skill that it can attack from the back row. So you can start attacking from the back row pretty quickly. Sometimes I've actually done it with Fugen, attack with attacker rearguard, got a stand, swing attack again to Vanguard, be able to hit, and it's been very useful. Correction, I have to say one thing. No, that was on Anobu Radar, who is a very similar skill. That's why I messed up right there. Basically, on place of this, you pick one of your rear guards, and then it gets 2k and that skill. Sorry for saying that wrong, because I only run one Fuga and I couldn't call another copy of it. Oh well, not a big deal. Next, I run one Nayuta. Nayuta's skill is, he needs the heart card of Hyaki. So if you ride Hyaki Vogue, you can have it get its skill. Its skill, basically what it does, is you put one of those cards to the one of your Hyaki cards to the bottom of the deck by copying one of your other units. Call that card you copied, and give it 10k. If you called a if you copied a grade 3, that's another 21k attacker, which is good, just like it was with Hyaki Vogue's limit break skill. So I like it. Next, one Super Breeze, stop grade 2 rush. Very helpful. Can mess up your opponent, get your GB early, which this is a very GB restricted deck, like you've seen. Next, 2 Hogan Wing, 2 Dismal. Currently, I don't have the new G Guard either. I don't think it's that amazing. It's not bad. Definitely not bad. But I'm not in a rush to pick it up. This guy is pretty nice, though. Basically, pick one of your grade 1 or greater rear guards. You can call a copy of that from your deck to Guardian Circle. So that's giving you your 5k boost. It's not one that if you do that you get it 5k like a lot of the Fighters Collection ones were. But the nice part of it is the card that you called from deck, when it goes to drop zone, you put it back into the deck. So you're just getting, by just having at least a grade 1 on the field and having another copy of that card in deck, you're getting a 20k shield, and you get more cards on Guard Circle, which always looks kind of nice. It's not really that needed, but it's pretty nice. And as I said, I do also run the 2 Homer Raider. That's why there's only a 14 card G zone right here. But that's it for my deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry for it being so long. I should have one more coming up soon, and possibly a deck profile for even another card game. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, share, and subscribe. And this is the end. Bye.